What's up, guys? I'm going to show you how to install a USB center console button replacement in a 4th gen 4Runner. It was very easy, and I think it was definitely necessary for me, so yeah, hopefully this is helpful. So this is the USB button replacement I got. This has USB-C and it lights up red, so I think that matches the orange interior lights a little bit better. It comes with its own connector here, so when I do end up splicing it, if I need to take apart the center console again, I can just undo this and leave the rest of that in there. At the end, it came with this was for the ground, and this fuse connector was for the hot wire, and I just cut those off. And I was going to splice these, like just cut the wires and splice them on the unused 12 volt connector, but I'm just going to use a tap splice now so that that connector is still usable if I ended up wanting to use it someday. But that's what I did before I even got out to the car. So I have a limited, which means I have the two air suspension buttons. I have since replaced that with coils and disabled the system, like up on the dash and everything. So I can just pop those out like they would be if, let's say, you have an SR5 with blank buttons. But I would recommend making sure everything's disabled with this before you do this. And then I also have the heated seats, so that's just something else you have to disconnect before you can take this full thing off. And to take this piece off, you just pull back here. It's very easy. Just be somewhat gentle because you don't want to break any of the clips. And then yeah, you'll see all of the connectors under there that I'm going to undo. Last one. I also want to point out that I have this style of ashtray where it only has one. There's another one where there's a connector up here, and then there's one right behind that with a cigarette lighter, and then there's a smaller tray. If you have that one, it uses both. For mine, it only uses this one at the moment, and this one right here that was taped to the bottom of the harness right there is being unused. That's for the other one. And I'm going to splice off of that one just because it's not being used. So here are all of the buttons. These two at the edges are the heated seats, so you won't touch those. And then make sure you're taking out these two. This one's the descent control, which you want to keep, I'm guessing. So it's going to be this middle one and this one. Wait, no, I almost just did that. It's these two to the left, and they have these little clips here. Press on the clips and push them out from the bottom. So this one just popped out. That is the up and down button. And then that one is the height control off button. And that is pretty gross in there, so I'm gonna grab a wipe and wipe a lot of this down since I'm in here. But so for the middle, I plan on doing a new screen. So that's for Apple CarPlay. It just has a USB at the end. I'm putting that in the middle, and then the charging one, this one's strictly for charging. This is going to go on the other side, like that. Alright, so I cleaned out those areas. I'm going to insert these now and then set this whole thing to the side to get to the wiring. I'm going to make sure that the lettering on this is facing the right way. And then you just push it in. And that's secure. And then this one, which is just going to sit there for now until I get a screen. Alright, so this is the connector I'm going to be working with. This is the current one that goes to the cigarette lighter, but this one was unused. It was taped back here, but I undid the tape, and so I still have to figure out which wires I'm going to be using, but I'm guessing the black and white one's ground, but I'm not sure about the others, so I'm going to double check. So I'm using a cheap multimeter, and I know the black and white one is ground, and we're checking the rest of the wires, and it looks like the pink and blue one is the one that has the power on when the key is on. I'm not sure which one stays on no matter what, but I don't really want that, so I only want it when the car is on because I don't want it to drain the battery. So I think we're gonna tap into those ones and see what happens. So that is the ground. I'm going to make sure that is going the right way. It looks to be good. You can always see later. And then same thing with the pink and blue wire. That looks pretty good. So now that those are hooked up, I can grab this connector, connect it to the piece on here, and I can test before I put everything back together. So, grab the keys, and I don't know if you guys saw that, but that is lighting up red. So, I think we're good. I am going to unhook this and I guess put everything back in here. So, like I said, so these skinnier ones on the ends are for the heated seats. And then that blue one right there is for the descent control, and then that's the other heated seat. So these, that one's the new connector, but these three are not being used right there. So bigger black one, bigger gray one, bigger white one. So let's connect these. That is heated seat. That is descent control. That's the other heated seat. That's the 12-volt plug still being used. And then I have that extra USB for the CarPlay that's just hanging out there for now. And then don't forget to connect the new one. So that with that. Tuck that in there. And that should be all good. I'm gonna double check all these are fully seated. And then open that armrest. I found putting that front piece in first before snapping this back part is better. So now this is what it looks like. This is unused at the moment, but I don't mind that because the buttons before weren't used. And this one was giving me power with the light on. The light was dimmer than I thought, so I might double check that I was using the right, what's it called? The right wire, and I'll make sure that this is charging at the right wattage and everything. But this is actually a really nice button. It blends in very well with this one. It has like a very similar finish. It looks very OEM. So I'll leave that. It was from eBay. It was $20, and this was $10 on eBay. But yeah, very easy. You'll see another clip if I mess it up, but if you don't, this is the end. So it is the next day. Everything works perfectly still. The light is perfectly dim at night, and it is charging at a great speed. So I would call that a success. It was very easy. It took me, if I wasn't recording, it would have taken me 10 minutes. And I think it really updates the interior of the 4th gen. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and I will make sure to link both the button replacements I use from eBay. I do really recommend the charging one. It's very nice. But thanks for watching, and let me know if there's any other tutorials that I could do to help any of you with the 4th gen. Thanks, guys.